Charlestown Chiefs, brought to you by Sheehan's Rustproofing. The Chiefs have just come out on the ice for a warm-up period. They're about to try for their 5th consecutive win. They're getting a good round of applause from their own booster club, who have traveled all the way from Charlestown to be here in Peterborough tonight.
Are you a first responder, a veteran, a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, or a Let's Go Blues radio listener? Of course you are. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call real estate superstar Mike Burgoyne today at 314-753-4060 or email him at mike@strikewithmike.com to earn special rates today.
60 Pickleball is an industry leader in high-end pickleball paddles. Use discount code CPRICE10 to get 10% off at 60pickleball.com. Don't get stuck on the court with an inferior paddle. Go next level with 60.
Have you subscribed to the LGB Minute podcast yet? It's a 5-minute weekly St. Louis Blues podcast hosted by Jeff Ponder that is released multiple times a week to fill the gap between Let's Go Blues radio episodes. Subscribe today.
You're watching Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast with your hosts Kurt Price, Bill Day, and what appears to be a Peter Dinklage cosplay. So just sit back, grab a beer, and enjoy the best blues hockey talk on YouTube.
Welcome to the Game 7 post-game show between the Blues and the Jets. Just ended a few minutes ago. Double overtime. The Jets score. Who scored in overtime?
It was Lowry.
Lowry scores off of Sundqvist's knee.
Which
Redirection.
freaking Bissonnette picked it.
Well, actually, if it went off Sundqvist's knee, then it wasn't Lowry.
Well, unless it went off him after Sundqvist. But
yeah. It only looked to change direction one time, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter because the Blues wouldn't take any shots like that.
Yeah, I was very, like everybody, I'm sure, was very frustrated that they just they'd pull up, they'd throw the puck to the point, and then they'd dump it in the corner. I'm like, throw it on net. I mean, this is overtime, right?
Right.
Goals go in. Just like Winnipeg's overtime goal. It goes off a knee, it goes in. So, and they weren't generating stuff. I mean, they just time and time again. And, you know, shifts get shorter the longer overtime goes. I get it. But, man, it was really hard to generate anything sustained when they take 20, 30-second shifts and they just, that's it. They're off. Can they dump it in and make a change? So it went from, within 2 minutes of one of the more impressive Blues series victories in a while to Winnipeg's greatest playoff game.
I tell you who has gone down in my book that I am sour on. And hey, end of the day, great season, great entertainment. We'll get to all that. But I will say there is one player that I am pissed the fuck off at, and I am slightly pointing my finger at. If you didn't fuck up, the Blues win this game, and that is Pavel Buchnevich.
Yeah. Yep.
That sailing it over the net with 40 seconds left?
50, right. I think. But yeah.
Nobody on him. He's all alone. What was the last time he did that? Do you guys remember? Oh, it was a goalie goal against the Blues. Like, what are you doing? Skate the puck, hold on to it, then dump it in, put it on net, whatever you need to do. Don't shoot it from your own fucking zone when there's no one on you.
It's like he panicked.
Stupid.
No,
he can't panic.
He's done that all fucking year where he just makes an airheaded play when there's a simple, easy, like take 2 strides, make a pass. And that's all he had to do. And Thomas would have been behind that.
Well, here's the thing is that Thomas was to his left. Mm-hmm. All he has to do is slide the puck to bank it off the boards. Thomas's left. And Thomas has an empty net.
Yep.
He could have thrown open space ahead of Thomas, and he's got an empty net.
Or just flip it high out of the zone. There's a million different things he could have done. He did the one stupid thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that it's become the thing to do, to just ice it constantly, and that never used to be the case. And you saw some disagreement there on the TNT panel. How Bissonnette said that it was a mistake to keep icing it, but then what's his face said Bonus said, well, the numbers say, that's why they do it now. The numbers say it's better to do it that way. Whatever. That was the reason why they tied that game.
Yeah.
And Perfetti, the second goal, my God, that was a great goal.
The first goal, the tip.
Right. Yeah. The one that got him on the board. Right. Correct.
Yeah. That's guy's going to be a superstar. Right.
Yeah.
But the Blues did it again. Right, on the tying goal. Kyle fucking Connor has nobody within 20 feet of him, and he's on the boards. Somebody has to be on him. We've known this the entire fucking year, right? That is what he does. He will get lost in coverage and go to the boards, and nobody fucking saw him do that.
That's what you want to see Kyrou do, right?
But
we don't ever fucking see it. We want to see him get lost in coverage,
right?
And it never seems to happen. There's a lot of things. There's a couple people in the chat here who are being positive. Good for you. We will get to positive. I think we are well in our right as Blues fans to be a little negative.
Right. We're venting right now.
This was a game that they absolutely should have won. Absolutely should have won.
I mean, you bitched before in our pregame, Kurt. You bitched about game one, like letting go the lead. They get a 3-1 fucking lead in the third period, and you gave up 2 goals with under 2 minutes left. That can't happen.
Fox's goal to make it 3-1 with 35 seconds to go in the second period, that should have been the game. Right. That was such a huge goal. Going up by 2, late goal before the third period starts. That should have been the goal that broke Winnipeg, and they didn't get on the board until less than 2 minutes to go in the game. In the second goal.
Right.
So it's like
shitty fucking bounce.
Yeah.
And they were willing to throw it at the net. The Blues weren't. Right. And that's going to piss me off. The other thing that I didn't like getting down into the last 2 minutes is Montgomery never fucking spent his time out. Right. You do something to disrupt it. Right. Why are you going to put that in your pocket when it's a game 7? Do something to disrupt them. Let the Jets draw their play up, get out there, and then call the timeout as soon as they go to the pit.
I think
Winnipeg took the timeout with like 2 minutes to go.
Right. And what I'm saying is counteract that. Right. That it can be a mental fucking
2.5.
Fuck with them kind of thing. And I just didn't understand that.
So I'll say my biggest problem with the tips, the blown coverage. Now I'll say Suitors, I think, was just unlucky. Right. That shit just fucking unbelievable bounce for Winnipeg.
Which the other ones, they've scored a handful of goals like that, unbelievably lucky bounces.
Yes,
early in the series
that.
In Winnipeg.
And I know other fans of other teams will say, "Hey, you guys at least won a cup," but that is the Blues' MO, to give up weird bullshit bouncy goals in the playoffs, and it's still happening. The one year it didn't was when they won the cup. But no, the thing that drives me crazy is that a lot of this blown coverage stuff that's happening, what do we hear about our defense? They're the most veteran defense, and they're great to have for these forwards out here that are young, and they're locked in for years. I'm sorry, the blown coverage we saw in the losses this series, awful. That can't happen.
Right.
That just can't happen.
You cannot allow Connor to be that far open and Perfetti to be open in the slot. Where is Parayko, and who was the other one that was there? Was it Neighbors? That they could have got their stick on it to tie him up, and nowhere near him. Right. Everybody is down below the fucking goal line again.
The only goal I had a problem with was the tying goal. That was because the first one was all right. I mean, that was a fantastic play. And the second one was lucky for Winnipeg. But the third one, the tying goal, so many things could have prevented that goal. Coverage being the last line of defense that was dropped the ball.
Clearing
We
the
lost three faceoffs too late. They kept winning faceoffs. We couldn't win an own zone faceoff there in the last few drops, and Buchnevich's brain fart, which was bad. And Winnipeg's overtime goal was, I had no problem with the Blues play on that particular shot. I was just unlucky, went off somebody's knee.
Here's the thing with Buchnevich. You skate it to the red line and get a shot. Fine. You didn't do that to me. You fucking put that puck in the net. This game's over. That game is over. And he fucking ices it and shoots it over the net. I know I've already bitched about this, but to me, that was the play that sealed the Blues' fate. Mm-hmm. Pavel Buchnevich, I hope you have a very, very long summer. My God, that was stupid.
I want so hard to like Buchnevich because I really do like his attitude. I think he's a funny guy. I think he's entertaining on the ice, but he does it's almost like he panics too often during the regular season, in this series, and that play that cost the Blues that icing. It's just like I find myself more frustrated with him than most players on the Blues, and that Kairu's up there. Led the team in score. I get it. But
when you're soft as baby shit in the corner,
in this game in particular, and in overtime in particular, Kairu was ineffective. And I know a lot of people were, because the defense gets so tight. But man, if you watched Kairu, you see your best goal scorer, you're like, okay, let's do something. And he gets wedged off the puck all the time.
So easy. I feel like I could knock him off the puck. Like, it's ridiculous.
Any board battle, he's getting wedged off. He can't fight through a check on the boards. He's just not built that way, which is fine. But you got to make it up in other areas in the playoffs.
You got to move your feet. You have to move your feet and be the guy that's coming back, right? We thought that was all going to get corrected after he was standing still and Nathan McKinnon blew by him back in 21, right?
So you know who was guilty of that in the second overtime? And I know they're tired, but there was a play where the puck was coming towards Robert Thomas, and if he would have stepped up in the neutral zone, he would have stolen the puck and then moved in for a scoring chance. Instead, he waited for the puck to come to him, and the Jets player just skated in and took the puck and went right around him. And I'm like, you can't just stand there, Thomas. What are you doing? It's like these mental mistakes that these guys that we're relying on to be the big player, that can't happen. Like, and that's the thing that I think frustrates me the most. We can talk about, the development of Bolduc, and again, the Snuggerud, there's a lot of positives, and we're going to get to that, I promise. But the thing that bothers me is the veteran play in this series. When it mattered most, I feel like a lot of the veterans truly let us down. And that is concerning for the future of this team.
I'm not there. Because we were 2 minutes away from beating the President's Trophy winning team. We should have won. And in the chat, Winnipeg Goldman, amazing series, boys. Congrats on win that. You know what? I mean, I assume that's the greatest playoff game in Jets history. Has to be. Has to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of the best playoff games of all time. 2 goals, game 7 to tie it, and then double overtime winner. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it definitely includes the old Jets too. So I agree with that.
Yeah. No, congrats. We went through it in 19 with the jubilation a handful of times in the playoffs, and so. I'm sure you're very ecstatic about this game. But
and good for Winnipeg. They deserve the win. And I've always said that the best team always wins the series. Winnipeg was the better team. I think in 7 games,
they were the
Winnipeg,
better.
They took advantage of their chances. They found the Blues' weaknesses, and they won. And I have no ill will towards Winnipeg. I'm not saying, oh, God, the Blues got screwed. I think there was plenty. I will say, your head coach annoys me a little bit more now, but outside of that,
I would say this. I would say I thought this series was dead even because Winnipeg, if not favoring the Blues, and hear me out, Winnipeg wins all their games in Winnipeg. the last game barely, and they had come from behind in game 1, and it was tied in game 2 in the third period. Game 2 in the third period, the Blues dominated in St. Louis. Wasn't even close. So every home team won their home games, but if you're gonna place it, well, how dominant were the Blues in St. Louis versus the Jets in Winnipeg? I had the Blues overall in this series. I think the Blues played them dead even, if not maybe outplayed them overall. Just because if you look at the games head to head, as far as like Winnipeg squeaking by the Blues in game 1 with the late goal in regulation to win, and then in this game. So, and the Blues, there was none of that in St. Louis.
But this is kind of my point of the veteran issue, though. Winnipeg's best players were Winnipeg's best players. The Blues' best players were not typically their best players. Nathan Walker was one. Nothing against the guy. He had a great playoff, but it's just that should not be the guy you're highlighting on the score sheet. Like, oh, did you see that Nathan Walker goal? Where the fuck is Robert Thomas? I bitched about him years ago in the playoffs. Felt like he disappeared. He disappeared in this game. He was terrible. Jordan Kyrou, terrible. Thomas Vucinovic, terrible.
Thomas was bad. Thomas a couple times. He had the puck in the slot with a chance to fire it, and he tries to pass to Kyrou like 2 shifts in a row.
And the one pass that Kyrou blew right past him.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It was just.
He's like, you could tell he's like, I've got to shoot this really hard. I'm gonna pass it. Like the mind didn't adjust from one thing to another.
Thomas has arguably the best wrist shot on the team, and he's got the puck in the slot. Once was it? Both were in overtime, and he just passes the puck. I'm like, what are you doing? You've got a goalie who played very well in overtime. Got help from a post on Walker's shot. Speaking of Walker, he almost won it for the Blues in overtime. Hit the post.
That unbelievable that didn't go in.
I know.
I don't know. It's such a heartbreaking way to lose. But we were the last team in the playoffs, and the Jets were the President's Trophy winner. We took them close. The Blues have to use this. Thomas and Kyrou, the core of this team, have to learn from this and have to have a better mentality going forward. And I'll say this for Dallas, you're welcome. Winnipeg's gonna get swept in 4. They are banged up after this series, and Dallas has Heiskanen and Robertson. Thank you, Vanessa Graff from the earlier show.
Yes,
coming back.
And I mean, Hellebuyck, who isn't anything special. He's So I mean,
the only thing Winnipeg has going for him is, they've got home ice advantage through the entire playoffs. So if they can make that work for them somehow, I just don't know what they're like. If they're gonna have to roll out, what's his name, Logan Stanley, through that Dallas series, it's not going to be pretty. For
Dallas is licking their chops if he's out there.
Yeah,
and nothing against the Jets as a whole, but their depth is really going to be exposed.
Yeah, especially if Scheifele's out for an extended period.
I think I texted you guys when Winnipeg tied it. And I was like, it just felt like that Vancouver game that Bill and I were at late in the season, that the Blues blew the lead, but then won overtime. I was spent. I was so, up 2-0 and then 3-1 going into the third. You don't want to think too positively, right? But you're feeling good up by a couple of goals, and then up by a couple of goals, with a couple minutes to go. You're like, okay, they didn't get an early goal in the third. They didn't get one midway. They they got the second one, fine. But man, and then when they get that tying goal with 2 seconds to go, it's like I was spent. I was emotionally exhausted. Physically, I was drained. The winds went out of my sails. And I told you guys, I'm like, I'm spent. I feel like we just lost the game. And I hope the team didn't feel that way. And I thought in the first overtime, I thought the Winnipeg came out first few minutes and played really well, had some chances. Then the Blues kind of settled in and they had some chances. And I thought it was a pretty good first overtime.
Oh, that Ehlers breakaway save was fantastic.
Right. And that's, that I think that goes, to it, right? That it came down, like Binnington wasn't going to be that save on Niederreiter on the deflection. That is unworldly that Binnington was able to get the puck under his pad and trap it. Right. That that's perfect positioning. And then the Ehlers breakaway save, god damn. And again, I go back to it, like so frustrating that we wouldn't just float some shots through trying to beat the traffic, and that's what wound up winning.
I had to laugh on the play where Winnipeg almost scored, the one they reviewed, and it was funny because initially you're like, okay, you think Binnington has it, and it squirts free well after the whistle blew, and it squirts free. And you see Pareko kind of pull it out off the goal line, and you didn't see it go in real time. Then you see the replay where the puck's on the pad, and it's like, oh, that's halfway across the line. It didn't go over, and there's no shot of the puck going in at all. And it's okay. Well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna say it's no goal.
Right.
And then they come and they say it's no goal, and the whole building is like, because they saw the video replay, and all of a sudden they were like, oh, like they saw it go in. I thought, oh, did they show an angle they haven't shown on TV yet? Because they show it going in, and they didn't. The crowd is just going nuts, and they announced no goal, and the crowd goes boo. I'm like, what did you guys see? It didn't go in.
The puck, even after the whistle, the puck never went in.
I know.
Right. Well, and if it did, Perfetti pushed him in. Right. He pushed Binnington's pad. No way that's a goal.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I'm like, what are you guys booing like crazy for? It clearly didn't go in. That was funny. Let's see. Ken Morris says Jordan Kyrou is our Mitch Marner.
Yeah, he gets a lot of hate in Toronto.
I think that's unwarranted though, but that's just me. I'll trade Kyrou for Marner. Let's see. Div by Zero says Dallas in 4. Rantanen is going to feast on Hellebuyck.
Yeah,
I really hate predicting a sweep, but man,
that game. I don't know if you boys watched that game last night, but that is the shit of legends.
Yeah.
Right. The team that trades you.
That was
the team that trades you, and my computer is deciding to mess with me here. And you go off for a hat trick in the third period to talk about.
You just put the team on your back and say, "No, I got this, boys." Well, and then whoever was doing the in between the benches color commentary, the on the ice level stuff,
whoever it was, Shelley,
Boucher. I thought it was Boucher.
Was he?
But Rantanen skated by. And he goes, well, I can't repeat what he said on TV, but it was pretty much take that, Colorado.
Yep, it was Boucher.
And I was like, wow. I mean, so obviously, and after the game, he tried to say nice things about the players and the team and everything. He didn't, those were his brothers and all that stuff. But I imagine that comment was pretty much towards the ownership and maybe the coaching staff, whoever had a hand in wanting him gone and not being able to sign him. So.
And let's just, we can say it, we need any feel good things we can here, but fuck Stan Kroenke. Your team lost last night.
Yeah, that did feel good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
And we can talk about positives, but I didn't like was before game 6, I guess it was, and before game 7, you saw some rumblings. Well, whatever happens, the Blues had a really good finish to the season, and I'm like, blah, blah, blah. There's plenty of time for moral victories after the season's over, whenever that is. Why say that now? I'm like, full steam ahead, balls to the wall, focus on this game. Let's win this fucking game. I sound like a player, but it's like, as a fan, a diehard fan, you have that mentality. So
I'll say for me, I just, we'll have a postseason wrap up show this week. We'll probably speak to a lot.
Not this week.
Yeah,
come on, man.
This week. Yeah.
We've done 2 shows already this week.
Yeah, that's true. We'll do
it's going to take a while to recover from this.
We'll do a season wrap up show here pretty soon. Let's just say that. And yeah, so we'll talk more of the positives of the season, but I'll say, man, the glaring issue that is, I don't know if it's a coaching thing, if it's a defense thing. I don't know. The giving up leads late. I don't care what hockey team you are. You are in the NHL. When you have a 2-goal lead, you should be able to hold it that late in the game. And the Blues were the absolute worst this season at holding a lead late. Like, that's not just playoffs. That was regular season too. It was a constant problem.
And twice in the series. So game 1, they allowed the tie and go with how many seconds to go? It was and then in game 7, they allowed 2 in the last 2 minutes. So that's, unacceptable. But
just can't happen.
No, I mean, but it does. That's why people love the NHL playoffs, because stuff like this happens.
Right, but when you see it in the regular season and it continues into the postseason, that is clearly a glaring team issue.
Just saying. Game 7. I mean, remove yourself from the Blues side of this and just and try and be a neutral fan and say, my God, Winnipeg scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to tie the game with their goalie pulled in a game 7 and then won in double overtime. Greatest game in Winnipeg Jets history. And it kind of sucks the Blues are part of that. It's like the Yzerman goal. We're going to be on highlight compilations for Winnipeg for a long time.
The Perfetti tying goal, right? That is this generation's Yzerman goal.
I agree. I agree that it's a great moment for Winnipeg. I'm just saying, when it's a glaring problem we've called out all season, that needs to be a focus for the coaching staff this summer.
Yeah. No, that great comment. It's got to focus on the mental toughness end of the game, because I think that's really where the Blues failed down the stretch tonight.
And I know Divide by Zero in the chat here. The problem is with the lead, the team turtles, then is not a winning strategy for this team. Unfortunately, I just think that is part of the game, because the other team's coming so hard that mentally you're just like, we just got to lift the puck up and out. And for some teams, it's just, the Winnipeg Jets are a perfect example of a team that never, ever, ever gives up. And they had the Blues' number late in the game tonight.
Any coach has talked about this, about going into a shell, the last so many minutes of the game to try and protect the lead. They say they don't coach that. That's just like you said, it's like a thing that players just inherently do, and it makes sense. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to get caught up ice. You want to make sure that you stay back. You're playing. D is first and foremost. There's nothing wrong with having a first and foremost D mentality. But if you're going to play D, you play D. Don't play a soft D. I mean, if you're gonna protect a 2-goal lead with 5 minutes to go, that's fine. I'm fine with dumping the puck out, playing it safe with 5 minutes to go. 2-goal lead, absolutely. 1-goal lead, not so much. 2-goal lead, absolutely. Sit on it, turtle. 5 minutes to go, yes. But if you're going to do that, you got to execute defensively. You can't. I mean, you know what they're going to do.
Right. But the thing that we kept seeing is, when the Blues were successful in defending the Jets, they were taking away the slot. And what they didn't do with Perfetti's tying goal was get anybody into the slot. He was wide open. 2 guys there that should never be wide open. And I've been corrected by a president of the United States of America.
George Washington says, not even close to compare this to the Yzerman goal. That was a contending team with the Stanley Cup aspirations. This team isn't that. First of all, that Blues team finished under 500 during the season. Mm-hmm. They didn't have Stanley Cup. We had Gretzky. They weren't playing good hockey. They were kind of built for the playoffs, but they didn't. I didn't think they had Stanley Cup aspirations that year necessarily. And 2,
we all wanted it because we bought Gretzky.
Yeah, well, I get it. You've got some Hall of Famers on the team, but they were under 500 that season. Yeah. So, but the thing is with that is that comment wasn't comparing the Blues team to that Blues team. It was comparing that moment for Winnipeg. That was for Winnipeg. That's their double overtime Yzerman goal moment. This game.
Did you say Yzerman?
Yzerman, whatever. That's what it is. This is the greatest moment in Winnipeg Jets history. Their greatest playoff game. So of course, this is going to be compared to that for Detroit. Now, that's one of Detroit's greatest moments in playoff history. Granted, it wasn't a cup clinching goal, but it was very significant.
And we have our own, the Pat Maroon goal.
Yes.
Right.
Right. Oh man. You know what? How many times you see them play like a clip? I don't. You guys watch the TNT or the?
We watched.
I am as soon as we're
FanDuel.
done here, I am canceling FanDuel. I don't give a fuck about the Cardinals. I'm canceling that shit tonight.
I watched FanDuel, and they played the Maroon goal at some point in overtime, and I was like, okay. I mean, how many times you see them do some kind of a flashback clip, and then something happens on the ice good after that? It seemed like the perfect moment for something to happen for the Blues in that game, and it just didn't happen. We're gonna now what he said for this generation of Blues fans.
Maybe. I mean, to this point, maybe.
We'll see what the Jets do. If the Jets get swept,
I'll tell you what.
Next round,
it has nothing. It has nothing to do with the aspirations of the team. It's just the gut wrenching loss. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is up there with that Arsenal goal as far as gut wrenching, because this game was won. This game was in the bag, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, just like that in the blink. So, I get it. It's comparable. Come on. Gee, how can you not compare like two gut wrenching moments? This is going to be a moment that you remember where you were, right? So when that game was tied.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, I collapsed in front of my TV.
I couldn't believe it. I mean,
just like that Vancouver game when Besser scored with the second left. I was standing up, I was excited, and then I just fell. And that's exactly what happened tonight.
They tied the game on their very last chance.
Yep. I thought you were going to say Winnipeg scored with their very last shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true. Yeah. No, it's it sucks. But again, I mean, and we'll be more positive with our season wrap-up show, but I mean, again, like, this was an incredible season. They were not supposed to be here. Right. They're way ahead of schedule with the moves that Armstrong made. We saw a lot of Jimmy Snuggerud this year. I think next year it's the year of Dvorsky. There's a lot of positives coming.
Yeah. Dylan Holloway not playing in this series made a huge difference. He neutralizes so much of the Jets' speed.
Well, and Ehlers didn't start the series, and then Scheifele didn't finish the series. I mean, they had their injuries too, but yes, not having Holloway. If we have Holloway, God, that sucked. He went down. That sucked because that was such a big part of the Blues offense.
Yeah,
being that win streak
on the forecheck. Mm-hmm. I mean, that was his forte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is the forechecker that we wish Kyrou was.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see anything out of Kyrou without the puck. Like, anything without the puck, and then anything with the puck, honestly, when he's not shooting. Like, it'd be nice to see him win a puck battle once. I mean, it's so rare. It's just, I know that's not his game, but man, you're in the NHL. You have to be able to battle for the puck in the corner. And if you get checked, not just have it instantly pop off your blade. Like, that's got to be cleaned up in his game, but I just feel like this is the Kyrou we're getting, right? Like, he's been in the league now, 4 years? I think this is Jordan Kyrou, and it's just not going to change. And I don't like that because he's supposed to be one of the stars of this team.
He matured. I thought during the regular season, he showed a lot more maturity than seasons past. And it's been a couple of years since they've been in the playoffs, and maybe he forgot it. He's got to take this to heart. If he is not, better in key situations next year, it's time to move on. But yeah, I mean, so disappointing to watch him just not being effective when we need it.
Did you guys see the Blues bench when they after the Winnipeg tied the game? They showed the Blues bench like a replay of how the Blues bench reacted to the goal. They were just distraught. Toropchenko was just like he just slumped. I mean, obviously, right? But yeah, that was just a dejecting moment. Like I said, I mean the team didn't. take chances in overtime. They didn't do enough to win in overtime. They didn't funnel pucks to the net enough in overtime against a goalie who was obviously shaky. You know, I don't know. It sucks. Congrats, Winnipeg. You're gonna lose in round 2, probably.
Yeah. I mean, no Shifley, no Morrissey. Yeah,
Blues blew them up during this round. I think I will say, no matter what, I think either team loses to Dallas. I think they came out of this series just bruised and beaten, and I think either way, Dallas wins this in 5 or 6 games. But
I think the only way the Blues were gonna, the Blues did have in their back pocket, for some reason, they have Dallas's number in the playoffs. So
yeah,
that's
I think the Blues could have taken Dallas to 7, but I think Dallas would have exacted revenge for 19.
It'd have been hard to pick the Blues in that series.
Yeah.
So
So who you boys gonna take from here on out?
Go Dallas Stars. Jake Ottinger, your Conn Smythe winner.
You know what? I actually do kind of want Dallas to beat Winnipeg quite a bit. Actually,
I do.
I hated Colorado for making me root for Dallas even more than I hated them before. But I'm kind of hate Winnipeg for making me root for Dallas again. So it's like I don't like Dallas. I don't like Winnipeg. But I think
I don't hate Dallas, but I also love Jake Ottinger, so that's a big part for me. But I don't want the Stars to win, but I think the path is there for them.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see with Connor Hellebuyck, right? If this series exercised the demons and he can make a save on, the away ice, it'll be interesting. But I just think we tenderized them a little too much for them to survive the next round. I think I'm going to have to go all in on the Canadian wet dream of Edmonton, Toronto in the final this year.
That would be awesome. I would actually love that.
It's never going to happen, but that'll be my hope, at least until the end of the next round.
I'm not high on Edmonton. I like Florida. I like Dallas as far as winning, but cup.
Yeah, especially if Mikko Rantanen plays at all like he did last night.
Oh my God,
still can't believe that Colorado traded him and he wound up in Dallas.
Yeah, let's trade him because we can't sign him. I'm like, do you want to win this year or not?
2 teams.
Don't go for the cup this year, then I guess, huh?
Yeah, right. Just throw it away. So I mean, I don't know.
They got a lot better player than Carolina did. I mean, no stink on Stankov, and he's still in it, right? But that's oof.
Div by Zero likes Florida and Vegas.
Just what every hockey fan wants, a Florida and Vegas final, right?
You like Vegas over Dallas, huh? Eventually. There you go.
Yeah, no, I'm like Jeff. I like Ottinger. I really think that the problem for Edmonton is going to be goaltending. They rode Pickard, but they don't have. No matter who they go up against the rest of the way, they have the inferior goaltending. So,
yep.
It would have to be McJesus, like taking them to the promised land, scoring 11 goals a game or something. But
seems like Washington hasn't had a game in forever.
Yeah.
I mean,
knocking out my Canadians.
George Washington says Dallas and Florida final. I can see that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's probably what I would pick if I'm picking, but although you know what? I mean, I like watching Toronto play just because of the shit show that comes with the brouhaha surrounding Toronto. all the coverage and all the, can they exercise the demons? Can they finally win a playoff series and get to the cup? Can they finally win a cup for the first time in 50, whatever the fuck years? So,
well, now that they have Berube, I am rooting for Toronto to do something.
I mean, I don't think they get past Florida, but we'll see.
A long series would be fun. I'd love to see them go 7 at least.
I'd love a game 7 overtime. That's why I think this game was probably great for hockey in general. Just like, oh my God, is the impartial hockey fan or the fan watching this just because they're a fan of hockey probably love this game.
So yeah, I was telling Jessica upstairs, like, I'm literally like, oh, sorry, I'm starting to hit that point. I'm starting to come down a little bit. I'm literally like sitting there like this, like just rocking back and forth, my hands between my legs. And she's like, God, you're a wreck. And I'm just like, I hate this. I hate every minute of this. And she goes, but you love playoff overtime hockey. And I'm like, not when it's my team.
Yeah.
I'm like, I will watch any other team and fucking have the time of my life. But Blues overtime game 7, no. Absolutely not. I
mentioned that in the pregame. I was like, I hate the Dallas in 2019, the game 7. I hated it.
Oh, it's horrible.
Afterwards, it was amazing, but during it, I was a mess. I hate it. It was an emotional, stressful wreck. It was not fun. This game was not fun in overtime at all.
No.
None of it was.
No. Nope.
So,
no, down to the last 3 minutes of this game, it was not fun.
Right.
The last 3 minutes of regulation. That is.
I'll be honest. I didn't have fun all night. Even when they were up by 2, I was like, I hate this. This game just needs to end. That clock needs to move faster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that they had a good chance of moving on, but I thought, I don't trust any of this. Let the clock get to 0, and then I'll feel happy.
All right. I guess we'll be doing a season recap show just to talk about things. At some point coming up, we'll let you know when.
I guess I should. Let's have a little bit of happy news here to close up Let's Go Blues Radio. This summer, I'm doing a very interesting thing, and I'm hoping Bill and Kurt will be able to come out a couple times. We'll be interviewing select people. I don't want to name any names yet because I haven't gotten official confirmations, but we'll be having local people from St. Louis in the hockey community coming out to face me in some NHL 94. And I will be interviewing these people as we play NHL 94. So I think that is going to be a lot of fun.
You can't rub your stomach and pat your head at the same time. How are you going to play NHL 94 and interview somebody at the same time?
Well, it's the fact that I've never lost in NHL 94.
You never played me, have you?
I figure I need a good I need something that might push in the favor of the other person.
All right. Where's this going to happen? This is going to happen in the
Bar Down Sports Bar over in South County. The only hockey bar in South County is what they say. I don't know if that's true, but sure, let's go with it. It's actually inside All American Sports Mall. So that'll be awesome.
Do they have the setup for the game? Are you going to bring your system or what?
I'm going to bring my system. They've got all the TVs we would need, all the connections we'd need. I'm going to stop in this week and now that the season's over and get everything squared away. Cool. But yeah, hoping you guys especially, I'll have you guys on and we'll play some NHL 94.
That'd be great.
So
that'd be fun. I want to do that. Yeah. Sounds awesome. Okay.
Yep. We don't have any dates on it yet. Like I said, still working things out. I don't know. This might count as this week's show. Maybe we'll do our wrap up next week. I don't know. We'll see. Bill says he needs time, and I'm okay with that.
Sunday is the first day of the week, so
it's true.
Yeah, and I have a pretty hectic schedule this week.
All right. Well, let's just say season wrap up show next week, folks.
Yep, and that'll wrap up our post game show for Game 7. 2025 against the Jets, episode 33 of season 14, I guess. 2 episodes in one evening of the original St. Louis Blues Hockey Podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks, everyone, for listening and participating in YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, we lost to a team that didn't have an airport.
1.6 seconds and we would have been home free.
I got nothing.
All right.
A Mark Goodson television production.
Sit, Ubu, sit. Good dog.
I found prints! No, fingerprints. I don't think so.
Kmart is more than any store you